Welcome to our weekly interview. Today we have two esteemed guests, Senator Joseph McCarthy, who is chair of the Senate Committee on Un-American Activities,
Hi, Kieran.
and Arthur Miller, who is the author of The Crucible, as well as The Death of the Salesman.
Hi, Kieran.
We also have our expert panel of judges who will be asking questions today. Our panel consists of Yanni Cunning, Jesse Hugh, Matthew Shee, and Trevor Whitney. The first question goes to Yanni Cunning.
Well, first I'd like to ask you if you both can agree that not only genuinely guilty people are hunted, but also innocent. Would you still proceed if 999 guilty people were charged out of 1,000, including one innocent person?
We'll start off with Mr. McCarthy.
Well, thank you for the question, Yanni. I think that it's really important that this does happen because we would be able to find the guilty at the cost of a very little magnitude. So I think that it should be happening.
Okay, now we're gonna have Mr. Miller's response.
Well, Yanni, I think that this is obviously wrong. Even if it's a fact that there are people who are actually guilty, all blindly hunting does is lead to innocent people being convicted. If you claim that you're hunting blindly for the greater good, people in power are bound to abuse this mindset. I showed this in the Crucible when Abigail exploits Stanford's good intentions, which leads to more innocent people being murdered than necessary.
Next, we go to Jesse Hugh.
Hi, do you think the Crucible reflects the witch hunts made during the Red Scare well? Why or why not?
We're gonna give Mr. Miller the first go on this question.
Well, I do think that the witch hunts extremely accurately reflect the Red Scare, as during the Red Scare, thousands of people were accused and punished for crimes that they didn't commit. And this is exactly like how Abigail falsely accused people, such as Goody Proctor in the Crucible.
Mr. McCarthy, do you have a response?
I do for that. I, in my opinion, I think that the Red Scare was not at all like the witch hunts in the Crucible. This is due to the fact that in the Red Scare, all people who were prosecuted had a reason, and we prosecuted people like for a reason. But in the Crucible, many people who were killed in the witch hunts did not actually have any guilt to be punished for. As a result, many innocent people died. So I think that the two are on very opposing ends of each other. Yeah.
Next up is Matthew Shee.
Do you feel the witch hunts were in a way necessary, whether to get rid of criminals or reveal the dangers of widespread panic to the public?
We're gonna give Mr. Miller the first go on this one.
Well, no, all the witch hunts and the Red Scare achieved was murdering thousands of innocent people. While it's true that they ended up revealing the dangers of prosecution without evidence, I don't believe that the thousands of lives that were lost was not worth it.
So I personally think that that is not the right answer to this question, and it's a very simple explanation, because if we did not have these witch hunts or the Red Scare, there would be many criminals out there that we would not have been able to spot from a distance, because if we didn't have these, then there would be many other people who would think that they could get away with the exact same thing. But because we had the witch hunts and the Red Scare, many people just realized that if they were to do the things that the other people did, then they would not have a good future either. So when you say that there was no need for them, I absolutely disagree with your opinion.
Last up, we've got a question from Trevor Whitney.
Alright, so in extremely dire situations, do you think that it's necessary to prosecute people without having absolute evidence?
Oh
Mr.
yeah,
McCarthy?
absolutely. I I cannot agree more with that statement, because I think that without having absolute evidence doesn't mean that they're innocent, because it sometimes evidence isn't needed to prosecute bad people. If you knew that somebody was accused of doing something, but you weren't sure if they actually did it, you would probably want to prosecute them in efforts to keep the society safe, as opposed to letting them go when they could have had the potential of being a harm to other people in the world.
Mr. Miller, I'm sure you've got something to say.
Well, yeah, I don't agree with this at all. I believe in a dire situation, keeping order is absolutely necessary in society. Now, if you go around and prosecute people without any evidence, innocent people ended up being persecuted, and that will eventually lead to society falling into chaos.
We will now be in a more intimate setting where Senator McCarthy and Mr. Miller can let their thoughts flow more freely.
I think that there are a lot of unaddressed issues that must be clarified right now.
I think that as well.
So, moving on, I think that in reference to your previous answer for the previous question, and elaborating off of what I said, I think that it is absolutely imperative that we take the precautions necessary to keep those who are potentially dangerous away from those who are completely innocent in society, which is contradicting your point, but I completely agree with my standing, and I disagree with everything that you said about that question.
Well, if you go around and you keep persecuting people who you think might be guilty, you'll end up definitely persecuting innocent people. And if you keep doing that, the cycle will just continue. You'll keep persecuting people, and eventually society will fall into chaos.
Mr. Miller, you need to realize that if you didn't persecute those people, then other people will think that they can do the same things and be reckless in the world without having any consequence coming for them.
Well, I don't think so, because I think instead of going around and persecuting random people, the people like the government could be using their effort to discovering a way to identify whether someone's guilty or not.
But the thing is, we aren't randomly persecuting people. We are actually persecuting those who might be dangerous to those who aren't dangerous at all. I hope you realize this point, because I don't think you understand that those who are potentially dangerous could be a terrible role model for those who weren't dangerous at all in the first place, and then will end up becoming gradually more harmful to others in society. I really think that you need to open your eyes right now, because these are the kind of minuscule things that will actually affect our society. And if you look at this is what you'll be taking if you decide that you won't want to persecute those who might be dangerous, okay? You want to go green in this situation, because if you don't, then your society will be ruined, okay? I'm telling you right now. I am warning you.
Well, that's not true.
All will be coming in your future. Let me show you, okay? You'll have more than one. There will be two for you, okay?
Well, okay, you said society will fall into chaos if we don't go around and persecuting people who we think is guilty.
Of course it will fall into chaos. Is that even a question, Mr. Miller?
If we can successfully find a way to identify those people who are actually guilty, we can avoid all these innocent lives that are being lost.
But those who were reasonably accused will end up getting what they deserve, because otherwise they wouldn't have been accused at all. No. Wait. I've not even done my point. Because you don't even realize that those who have the potential, those who appear in the eyes of those who decide that they should be persecuted, will end up getting what they deserve. And if you live life innocently, then you won't even need to be in this situation.
Okay, well, if you look at the Red Scare, I don't think many of those people
The Red Scare was reasonably
used.
Executed, because those who were persecuted ended up having a reason. Unlike your fictional book, everyone who was accused was innocent, but that's not how it is in real life, because the Red Scare was absolutely not like that.
So you're saying the thousands of people that were affected by the Red Scare were all communists?
Affirmative. they were definitely communists, and they were accused for a reason, and there's no way you can contradict
Well,
that, because
I think if you
that's just facts. You can't contradict facts, Mr. Miller.
well, I think if you truly believe that all those people, every single one of those people affected by the Red Scare are communists, then I don't think this argument will go any further until
I
you
think
realize.
that you're spitting lies, because if you think that people were randomly persecuted, then you are absolutely wrong.
Okay.
Well, thank you. This has been a very productive discourse. I hope it has been valuable to our viewers. That concludes our open discussion for tonight. Thank you for tuning in.